as we get into some Browns.
Get
into some Browns analysis. I mean, are the Browns the most talked about draft class in the NFL at this point?
So if we're gonna pivot, he's
already speechless.
There was a lot of questionable decisions. I'll say.
Really? I thought it was a good. I'm not even kidding.
Not even going to start with Shedeur. My biggest beef off the bat. I love the Quinshon Judkins pick in round 2. I think it was great. I think we needed depth at the running back position. I think there's questions, obviously, around if Nick Chubb's even going to be on the roster. Jerome Ford is not the number 1 back that we're going to get. My grievance comes with taking Dylan Sampson in round 3. I don't think
really?
I don't think it was necessarily a position to double down on. Granted, I understand. The ground rushing attack was terrible. It was terrible last year. But the team was terrible last year. Chubb is probably gone. He had 3.3 yards coming back from the injury, but
Judkins feels like a Chubb replacement to me.
He seems like a Chubb replacement, but you know what we needed? You know what we needed there was wide receiver. And I understand we're still early in free agency. We can still make some moves, maybe make some trade, but other than Jerry Jeudy, we don't have a single proven wide receiver on the depth chart.
Your guy Seti Tillman, bro. You were gassing him up last year.
Sid Tillman you were talking about.
Yeah.
He's shown flashes, but he got hurt last year. It's not for how the draft broke down. We took Shedeur, obviously, in the late rounds. I believe it was the 6th round. Sixth round,
144.
Fifth round. It's if you're gonna make a shot on him, and you've got Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett, who are gonna be the guys. It's just, dude, you took it at the 126th pick when you have Jalen Royals and Eric
Iomanner. Yeah, tough name.
Yeah, but they were on the board at 126. They were available, and you had another running back. I get it. You need the depth. You don't have the Jerome Ford's not the guy. What's Nick Chubb going to be if we re-sign him and he comes back? I get it. And spare me the Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry takes. Okay, we didn't draft Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley right there. I would have liked us to have helped out whoever is going to be throwing the ball that is going to make this team win or lose on Sundays.
Mike, you forgot about a very important signing that happened. He's a stud receiver. You're gonna super reliable.
Don't even say it.
Don't.
Deontay Johnson.
I know. Yes. It happened just today.
Former Texans legend, actually.
Yeah, Texans legend who put on the uniform and then went to Cleveland. Yeah, fantastic. We got one of your guys already. Just what I think is, I think Judkins is going to be a good running back in the NFL. I really do. I don't think Sampson is going to be. He'll be serviceable. I think he'll be a good player, but
I think they complement each other well. Sampson,
I think their skill sets are complementary.
Their skill sets are complementary. I just don't think we needed both of them right now. Pray that they prove me wrong. I'm being critical of them. I'm not just gassing up the Browns right now.
I think you might be gassing up the Browns a little bit in the sense of you're talking about receivers beyond Jerry Jeudy. Who the hell is the quarterback going to be? if you don't know who your quarterback is, you need a solid run game if you want to be competitive. If you want to play the style that the Browns look like they're going to try and play this season, which is grind it out on defense and then keep the game close, control the ball on offense, because we don't know at all who the quarterback is going to be. And it's certainly not going to be a Pro Bowler at this point. It's probably going to be a rookie or a veteran or a backup. We just don't know.
And all I'll say is, for the number 2 pick, we got a King's ransom. I loved it.
What are your thoughts on Mason Graham? He seems like he's flying under the radar right now for us.
Mason. I love the Mason Graham pick. I think had we been picking there originally, fantastic. But we had to trade out of the number 2 pick. And you know what it got us? It got us a first next year and, future picks down the line. I like it. I like Mason Graham.
I love that trade. I
did too. I don't think the Jags are going to be particularly good either.
What was that?
I don't think the Jags are going to be particularly good. Okay, so that first round pick you have, I didn't mention nothing about the Browns.
It was a good thing for the Browns, Mike.
Yes. No,
I'm thinking that could be a top 15 pick.
I was watching out for the pinhead in the corner to see if he was saying anything. No, it was no. I think Mason Graham is going to be the best defensive tackle that we've had since Dalvin Tomlinson when we made that trade. I think it beefed up the defensive line. I think it was telling Myles Garrett after we gave him the money to say, we're not just leaving you out there. Yeah, I mean, it was a great pick. I like it because you know what? Kevin Stefanski has won with a good defense and not. And I had texted it to you guys in private outside of the podcast. Kevin Stefanski has won with lesser quarterbacks than Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, etc. He's made it
Maybe
work.
Joe Flacco, but Kenny Pickett. Are there lower quarterbacks than Kenny Pickett?
Man.
I'm making a point here. No, I mean,
maybe Dylan Gabriel is a lower quarterback.
Kevin Stefanski has proven that he can win with not – you don't have a top 10 quarterback throwing the ball, or you don't have – Lord knows you don't have top 10, top 25 wide receivers throwing it to him.
Give him a solid game manager quarterback who he can scheme for.
Someone that will
like to see what
sounds like Dylan Gabriel. I'm not joking. I like Dylan Gabriel in that role.
I like Dylan Gabriel too. The one thing that it does kind of frost my ass because I really would have liked us to get a guy like Jalen Royals in the late rounds to be someone that complements Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman in that wide receiver core. I mean that's a quarterback and wide receiver core are a major weakness in this team going forward. I mean, that's how you score points. I understand, though. I like the trade back. This team is not going to win the Super Bowl this year. We know that. That's why we made the trade. I am okay with it going forward. I still have all the confidence in Kevin Stefanski. I think this team will overperform expectations. I really do. Depending on who will be the day one starting quarterback. And I think we will see a good mixture of guys like Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco throwing the ball. I think we may also sign somebody, knock on wood, Kirk Cousins.
We're going to get more quarterbacks in Cleveland?
I mean, you might as well.
You
can't get more than, what do you have, 5
Dylan
right
Gabriel's not going to be trotting out there. I don't think Kenny Pickett.
You drafted him in the 3rd round. Why wouldn't Dylan Gabriel get a chance? I feel so bad for Dylan Gabriel right now with the way people are just completely glossing over it.
You know what? We touched on this about the Bears too, and I think this is the same approach the Browns are taking. They're saying, screw it, max competition. Everybody's going to get reps in the preseason outside of Flacco, maybe because he's old as hell.
If he earns it.
But that's not how NFL practices work. You don't just get to rotate your quarterback. You don't rotate.
Joe Flacco is going to be the number one. Joe Flacco.
Yeah, to start the year.
But if you look at the Bears, and you look at the moves they made and the competition that they created, you have guys who can take first team reps, second team reps. You move them around. An NFL offense that they're trying to install to get ready for actual regular season football, they're not going to waste their time rotating 5 quarterbacks to get first team reps. They need to install their offense with a quarterback, and it's going to be a new guy. I mean, we know that much. That it's going to be a new
Flacco. I mean, at least Flacco.
Or I guess Flacco. Yeah, Flacco's a year removed from being. So maybe that makes if it's going to be Flacco, you better have him with the first team throwing those balls to his first team receivers, and you're not going to waste your time giving Dylan Gabriel a chance or Shedeur Sanders a chance in the name of competition. Who are you trying to compete? Joe Flacco, as if he doesn't know how to be an NFL quarterback?
The Sanders pick was a value pick. Do you want me to go Jim Calhoun and say we fucked up? Okay, we fucked up. Like, yes, it wasn't a great draft. It wasn't a great draft.
I disagree. I think it was a good draft.
But for the positions outside of quarterback, it was good. I liked it.
What more could you have done at quarterback other than trading up to one and picking Cam Ward? You couldn't have done it. You couldn't have done much more.
This was not the draft to go balls out and even trade up to get Cam Ward. This was not.
I would have liked the receiver where they took Gabriel. I would have liked the receiver too.
I think the Gabriel pick.
Yeah.
I think the Gabriel pick was a mistake. I agree.
Well,
not even a receiver.
No, sorry. Go ahead, Christian. I was gonna say that they took Harold Fannin. I mean that
we did take Harold Fannin,
right?
Yeah.
And I think,
he's
but
Njoku's
still there, and Njoku's still the guy, and Njoku's still fine, completely fine. He's a top 6 tight end in the league. Argue me on that.
Well, the only thing, the one issue I have with the draft, to me personally, is pick 94. I guess if you want to say that's not the issue, and the issue actually was the owner stepping in, telling them we have to trade for Shedeur and take Shedeur as well. If you want to pick and choose between one or the other, I don't mind it, but I just think the idea that you traded for Kenny Pickett in the offseason, used a 5th round pick on him, and then you brought in 2 more guys, I just don't think that's a great way to build the quarterback position. I mean, you got to cut one. You already declined the 5th-year option for Kenny Pickett. It seems like he's the odd one out right now. I don't know if he'd be the guy, but we'll see. But I do like the Judkins and Sampson picks together. They're kind of like a smash and dash duo, so it makes sense to me. But yeah, the one pick that I just didn't care for was Dylan Gabriel at 94, and I do think whether it was a receiver or particularly safety, I think they could have really upgraded. I think they lost Juan Thornhill to free agency. You got Xavier Watts and Billy Bowman sitting right there. I felt like that could have been a game changer for him. But ultimately, I mean, there's no issue throwing darts on the board at the end of the day. I still think they can be competitive in this division. Like, I'll tell you right now, if I could start day one with the Browns or the Steelers, I'm taking the Browns right now.
Who's their quarterback? Well, I guess that you could say that about the Steelers.
So exactly.
With the Steelers, scratching for fun for 6 wins this year.
I agree for sure if it comes to draft capital as well. Yeah. Just given that you have Jacksonville's first next year. I mean,
you're going to use it on a quarterback, right?
We're going to use it on a quarterback. And what I respected about the decision was finally the Browns ownership said, we screwed up with the Deshaun signing. We screwed up with what we gave the Texans. Shout out Turtle.
Took you long enough.
It did. It was finally saying, hands up. It was a bad decision. I liked the trade back. We needed Mason Graham. We needed a guy like that. The only reason you give Myles Garrett the money you gave him was to get a guy like Mason Graham. if you're going to win 6 games, if you're going to win 7 games, you know how you're going to win that in Cleveland? You're going to choke out the other team, and you're going to win it 20-13. That is how this team is built right now. I love Quinshon Judkins. I love Dylan Sampson pick. Let's see what's going to happen. I mean, will Jerome Ford? Let's make it a committee backfield. Maybe you don't have to win the ball you don't have to win the games by slinging the ball. You don't have to have a top 10 quarterback right now. Kevin,
I don't think you have a choice.
No, let me finish. Kevin Stefanski has proven he can win games with less than what the Browns have right now. I think this draft was a bet on how good of a coach that Kevin Stefanski is. We've seen him do it with DTR. We've seen him do it with literally no wide receiver core. We've seen him.
The best examples we saw we do it with Flacco, right? Just a couple of years ago.
Did it with a 38-year-old Joe Flacco, who is now back on the team.
Right.
And this draft was a bet on Kevin Stefanski that you can do this. We're not going to win just 2 games. I'm betting the over-under right now for the Browns is at 5.5. I'll take the over because of why? Kevin Stefanski and that defense. I mean, it's
and playing Mason Rudolph twice this season.
Twice this season. What? Oh, he's back on the. Yes, yeah.
He's probably the Steelers' starting quarterback right
Probably the Steelers' starting quarterback. I mean, are we going to compete for anything this year? Absolutely not. That's why we made the trade. I like the trade. We're at where we're at. There is stability for the first time in 20 years over a 4 or 5 year span in the Browns head coaching position and in the ownership. Do I have my qualms with Andrew Berry? Absolutely, I do. Every Browns fan does. We did the best thing for the team right now in this draft. It wasn't pretty. You know, we could have just taken Cam Ward at 2 and then said,
well, you weren't getting Cam Ward at 2.
Well, yeah. You
could have taken Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter.
Abdul Carter at 2 would have been cool. Travis Hunter at 2 would have been cool. I think we did the best thing for the organization where they're at right now. Like I said, we're not going to win this year.
I think you did the best thing for you going forward too, in the sense that you got 2 picks. That, I mean, I don't know how good you think the Browns might be, but odds are they're probably going to finish below 500. And the same thing with the Jaguars. I don't necessarily have faith the Jaguars are going to turn it around and become some playoff team. So realistically, you're looking at 2 top 15, in all likelihood, top 15 picks next season that you may be able to flip or package possibly into getting a top 3 pick, maybe a brand new quarterback that you do believe in. That you know, you just spin the wheel again one more time.
Do you think
throw another dart at the board?
If I tell you guys in 2025, does Travis Hunter, as the Jags are constructed right now, is Travis Hunter going to make the Jags anything below a top 11 pick? I don't think so. And
do you mean above?
Or above? Yeah, anything above a top 11 pick for 2025.
They play in a weak division. I mean, I think at best they win 8, maybe 9 games just because
so
they
we
play the
slide it
Titans
down.
and
We
Colts
slide
twice,
it down to the teens, and we're still not going to be good next year. You know, and if we're picking above them, if we're picking below the Jags, and it's in the teens, then the NFL's got a problem. So, I mean, I can't.
You're still in. This is the best you can do with the Watson purgatory.
We're in purgatory. I mean, we are living through it because he's still on the roster. He's still in a boot. He's still posting the Instagram videos, working out in a boot. Like, I mean,
he retore his Achilles dancing with his now fiance. I don't know how that happened.
Congratulations to Sean, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not wishing him
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congrats on getting paid, I guess.
What a great heart.
Get the boot off and throw a pigskin. But no, I mean, I think you know what it was? It was the best out of the absolute worst situation that Kevin Stefanski didn't put himself into. This was Browns ownership that hamstrung a guy who was a great play caller. And I think we'll be able to make it happen with – I mean, people are thinking maybe – what do you guys think off the bat? If you're looking at the Browns roster right now, I still think there is a chance that we make a play at Kirk Cousins. I don't think Joe Flacco is going to be the day one starter. I know there's some talk with Kirk that he may be staying with Atlanta or maybe going elsewhere. I think Cleveland's still his top destination. He likes it there. He's visited Cleveland already. But, I think Kirk Cousins gives his team a better chance, but it doesn't start with the quarterback right now. I mean,
we got five quarterbacks on the roster, and now we're talking about bringing in Kirk Cousins to be what number 6?
I
would like to see us.
What I want to know, Mike.
I will say, Shedeur Sanders, come week 5. We may be.
I mean, you got to be happy with the value that you got.
Every team in this league is looking for their next quarterback. So whether it's Gabriel, whether it's Sanders, I think for what the organization is trying to do, it's not the worst draft. And you have assets that if they're not going to be your guy, you can possibly trade. Down the line, that's the best I can do.
maybe not for the picks that you got him at.
Yeah.
Shedeur, do you expect Shedeur to be the starter at any point next year? What I want to know from you, Mike, is you're realistically for an NFL team going to have 3 quarterbacks on your roster on a Sunday, right? Who are the 3 quarterbacks that make it out? Maybe maybe it's Kirk Cousins. Maybe Kirk Cousins is the front runner on that list, and he's just not in Cleveland yet. Makes a lot of sense with the Stefanski connection. Yeah. I don't have a problem with that hypothesis, but right now he's the most expensive backup in NFL history by far, sitting in Atlanta. So do you think it'll be Cousins? Do you think it'll be Flacco? Does Shedeur push for the spot? If you had to break down who you think the starting quarterback, backup, and third quarterback will be, how do you think it shakes out?
I think barring a Cousins trade, let's say I would like to see Kirk come in because he's a Stefanski guy. Stefanski's got to put him on the map, really. He was decimated in Washington and then came to a Kevin Stefanski offense and made it work. Without Kirk, put Joe Flacco out there. I think it gives you the best chance to win. I really do. Maybe not weeks 1 through 10, maybe not a whole season. Start off the year. I really think it's going to be it sounds so weird to say it about an NFL team, but there's going to be weeks when I don't think Flacco is going to be good to go, and then we're going to have to put Kenny Pickett in. And then I think Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, if Kenny Pickett's, you know what in the bed, then if it's a blowout, let's see what the young guys have. We're not out there to go win 15 games this year. We're not. I mean, the team isn't built like that. And I hate it because we paid Myles Garrett. And I think what we're going to have to lean on, as we have had to do since we signed Deshaun Watson, since the Baker Mayfield days, leaning on the defense. If Joe Flacco is going to give you the best chance to win in terms of not turning the ball over, but he's a gunslinger, what we need.
He does throw interceptions.
He does throw interceptions.
Flacco does.
Thank you, Turtle. Yeah. No, he's a gunslinger. Put him out there. I'd like to see him. See what we got. You have nothing.
You're not winning 15 games though. Then why not just give one of these rookies the chance? See what you got with Shedeur.
And I think that's why I'm curious to see how it's going to play out in camp. Because Deshaun is not a threat. He's out for the season. So
I think he's out for the long haul at this point too. I don't know if Deshaun's ever coming back.
Let's see how these rookie guys are going to compete with Joe Flacco. I think Joe will get the job, but it's going to be a short leash. It's going to be a short leash, because it's if he throws 2 interceptions in a game, put the new guy in, put in Shedeur Sanders, give me Dylan Gabriel. Let's see if either of these guys got any juice. If you spent the picks on them, you talked about the pick they took with Dylan Gabriel. I didn't agree with it. I thought they should have taken someone else. I think he would have been there later in the draft. But it's a position that they have no idea what is going to be going on. The one thing I will say, I think the defensive line is going to be great. I think our defense is going to be able to carry us. And I think talking 4 games, if we only score 13 points and we give up 10, you know what? That's a win. I really am banking on the defense this year. I think we do have some questions in the secondary. I don't know if Denzel Ward's going to want to stay here another year after this year. So, there's going to be stuff we have to address. But Mason Graham
having 2 high first-round picks next year is going to help with that.
Exactly, and it justifies bringing or paying Myles Garrett what you paid him, because you are not going to. Abdul Carter, as good as he is not Myles Garrett. Would I have loved for them to have gotten Abdul Carter and paired him up with Myles Garrett? Yes, but it didn't happen. We're dealing with reality, not fantasy. It's not fantasy football. There are question marks. We're not going to be a good team. But I can tell you.
I don't like that, man. I don't like you saying that. I think they're going to be fine.
Who the hell is the quarterback going to be, Christian?
You
believe in the Browns?
Need a quarterback. Sam Darnold was a quarterback a year ago, dude.
We
don't need a quarterback. And
we had this conversation a couple months ago where I was like, no way the Browns are going to be good next year. And then Christian and Mike were like, I might see him winning 8 games.
But allow me to go Windhorst. So I really do think if we go back to what Kevin Stefanski got brought here to do, he got brought here with Baker Mayfield, who wasn't a proven quarterback at the time. You know how he won? Ground and pound with the offensive line and a great defense that is able to shut down teams and make it ugly. It's football. Go ahead and make it ugly. You want to come to Northeast Ohio and you think you're going to have a shootout? You think it's going to be all flash and flame? No. Let's make it ugly. Let's give it 8.5 wins. Give me the Browns over. Let's make it ugly. 20 points, or race to 20 points will win for the Browns. Maybe not against some teams, but the majority of the NFL, I absolutely think so. As being optimistic.
I want you to answer 3 questions for me, Mike.
Yep.
I want your overall grade on this Browns draft. I want who you expect the quarterback to be for the majority of the games, who you think the starting quarterback will be when it's all said and done. Not necessarily who starts the year, but who ends up playing the most games at quarterback, who they land on. And then finally, I want you to answer if you think they will go quarterback in 2026 when it's all said and done. If none of this quarterback competition crap ends up mattering. Yeah. So draft grade, who you think plays the most snaps at quarterback this year for them, and then whether they go QB in 2026. Answer in any order you like, however it comes to you.
Well, draft grade, I'm going to go A+. draft grade, I'm going to go A+. And you can look at I mean, go ahead and Google anywhere that you're looking at draft grades. Browns get an A+ for me. They made the biggest trade of the draft and came away with value for it. I'm speaking strictly from the draft. The value added in securing a second-round pick and a first-rounder from Jacksonville, I'm completely fine with. I think Andrew Berry saved his job with that trade. That's completely honest. Second question. How good are the Browns going to be next year? Was that the question?
The question was who's going to play the most snaps at quarterback for the Browns.
Who will play the most snaps at quarterback?
I know how good you think the Browns will be. You got the over on the 8.5 wins.
I mean, shit. I brought up Brady Quinn jersey. I had the over on the 8.5. I had over on the 4.5 wins that year.
Mike's had over on the 8.5 every season.
How good I think they will be. I think if
who's playing the most snaps at quarterback? Who's playing the most snaps at quarterback? Answer that one first. We know how good you think they're going to be.
It's up to you. Gosh.
Because I think it's going to be Shedeur. I really do. At this point, I don't know how you set yourself up for anything else.
Right. No, it's going to be I'm trying to think.
Christian, who did you say you thought it was?
I think it's going to be Shedeur.
It's going to be Joe
Flacco. All right.
I'm going to give let me put it a different way. I will give Joe Flacco over under 5.5 games. I'm going to give Shedeur Sanders over under 7.5 games.
Started. Wow. Okay.
Yep. So he'll play half the season, you think?
Yep.
Roughly.
I think so. I think if it's going to prove off the bat that, and I'm going to pin it right now. Bulletin Board Sports Podcast. Pin it.
Trademark that pin. Yep.
The Browns are going to win week 1. We're going to be 1-0. I don't even know
who you're playing.
Exactly. Schedule doesn't even come out yet. Browns will be 1-0. I don't know how. I don't know who we're playing. Browns will be 1-0. We're going to make it work. You know who it's going to be with? Joe Flacco. Because I think that Joe Flacco is going to be able to sustain himself through and that's why I'm saying 4.5 games. I mean, because we've seen the Joe Flacco experience. He's old, man. I mean, enough of these hits going full speed when you're not just jogging around in shorts. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. I'm going to give him 4.5 games. I think game 6. I'm not going to say 5.5 because I don't know what's going to happen because it's Joe Flacco. Game 6, I think you're going to see Dylan Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders. And then I think Dylan Gabriel, I'm going to give him 5.5 games. And then
Shedor's gonna play the rest of the year to reach your 7.5 mark from earlier.
And then
yeah. Well, actually, you gotta take a couple games off of Gabriel.
So what I'll say, Joe Flacco, 5.5 games. After that, I think you're going to see Kenny Pickett. Because I think Kevin Stefanski believes in this guy. He's a Pittsburgh guy Kenny Pickett is a Pittsburgh guy.
How many quarterbacks are they going to have on the roster?
We're running out of games here.
And then I think you'll see Shedeur Sanders.
Well, you got to count the playoffs, Turtle.
That's right.
Let's not go crazy.
All right.
Right.
I guess my
over
last
under at
question
3.5. Hammer the over. That's all. That's what I got for him.
All right. My final question, Mike, is going to be: is any of this going to matter in the first 2 rounds of the 2026 draft? I think the Browns are going to end up taking a quarterback. I really do. I think that however this goes, I like your optimism, but I think at least at the quarterback position, it's not going to be enough to give them a sense of stability for the future. I think they are going to use at least one of these picks, if not multiple, that they've been able to secure to get one of those quarterbacks in 2026. What do you think?
Well, and Pat, as you know, as we talked about it when we were doing the hot seat, you know, the the hot seat cool throne for
the coaches or QBs? Yeah, coaches.
And you know, I mean, it directly ties into the quarterback. Yes, I think we'll probably be picking top 10. And I think we're going to take a quarterback. I think this is the end of Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. I think Kenny Pickett's a 1-year thing. He's going to be gone. I think you're going to – Yeah. If that.
I don't know if he makes it. I don't know if he makes it out of training camp. Yeah,
I don't know if he makes it out of training camp, but if he does, I damn sure know he's going to be He's going to be a healthy body that some teams will be looking at to try and add depth if they think they're going to be able to make a run. Yes, sure. We are going to be looking at quarterback next year. Kevin Stefanski's job is saved. Deshaun's going to be gone. It's not going to be. I would be immensely shocked if we bring him back. Yeah, I mean I'm trying to spin gold out of shit right now. So it's you know, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, we're gonna go with what we have. I think the starting quarterback is gonna be Joe Flacco. I think Joe Flacco is gonna fall off at week 3 or 4, where he usually does after he's been playing that many weeks in a row. We're gonna go to the young guys. It's gonna be Shedeur. It's gonna be Dylan Gabriel. Kenny Pickett probably not going to be on the roster. Kirk Cousins is the wild card of, are you going to bring in somebody who has a little bit of competence, who has done this, not been great, but has been able to be a serviceable quarterback in the NFL? Maybe. He has a relationship with Kevin Stefanski. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. Do I think we're going to pay him when we got Deshaun Watson on the payroll, even though we got the cap space of restructuring the deal? I don't know. But
we'll see.
Hey, welcome to Browns fandom.
We'll see if they believe they can compete. Maybe they go with Kirk Cousins.
We didn't talk about the possibility of Carson Schwarzenegger playing quarterback.
It's a good point. We kind of glossed over the Carson Schwarzenegger.
Kind of glossed over.
We did gloss over. We mentioned Fannin. We mentioned a lot of the other guys. We didn't mention Carson Schwarzenegger. So shout out Carson Schwarzenegger.
Wasn't he pick 1 of the second round?
He was pick 1 of the second round. So yeah, shout out Carson Schwarzenegger. I think he'll be a good player. I'll just say that. I don't know much about him, to be honest, but
off-ball linebacker at the top of the second round. He better be good. He better be good at that point. I think if you just told a Browns fan. If you showed a Browns fan, this is my overall summation of the Browns, then we can give our closing remarks. But my thought is, if you showed a Browns fan on Thursday afternoon their full set of picks and who they were able to get in this draft without saying where you got them or when they were selected, and you see Shedeur there, you see Mason Graham, Judkins, Sampson, Fannin, Schwarzenegger, and you say, we made it work, we got all these guys, don't necessarily say where you picked them. I think a Browns fan would be pretty happy and maybe get an A+ grade like we saw from Mike here. So that's my thought on the Browns. Is I think you got to be happy of it as a fan, even if some of the picks were questionable.
I'll finish it with saying I like the Schlesinger pick. I like that we brought in Jerome Baker, to help out with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Get his bodies back there, man. Like, we got after that is Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. So, give us a depth.
Household names. For sure.
Kiss my ass. The defense is where we're gonna win games from. Is all I'm saying. Is what I've been saying throughout the breakdown of the quarterbacks. And I think the defense got better through this draft, and I think we picked up depth. We paid Myles Garrett. Would I have loved for us to get Abdul Carter? Yes. The gods work in different ways. So
when the gods can give you a first-round pick next year,
when the gods
very likely be pretty darn bad in the Jags. I still don't believe in them. You take it. And again, if you told a Browns fan that you got all the guys you got and you got a first-round pick next year on top of it, I think you got to be happy. So,
for the fans out there, they just asked me to break down the Browns QB room. It would be easier, like explaining foreign policy. So, this is I'm doing the best I can here. I'm rooting for my boys. It's you know what? Go Brownies. That's all we can do.
That's what we say every year.